Welcome to the presentation for the Systematic Documentation, Evaluation, and Community Efforts of the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. After today's training, you will be able to understand the evaluation approach of the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. This will then allow you to document your activities in the Partners in Health online documentation and support system. I will begin by discussing the online documentation and support system, also known as the ODSS. The purpose of the ODSS is to support evaluation by providing a place to document initiative activities and events. This information is then disseminated among initiative members to yield celebration, adjustment, and improvement. There are various advantages to the ODSS. The ODSS provides an institutional history, helps leverage additional resources and community support, supports informed decision-making, and allows users to make necessary adjustments. Our framework for community mobilization shows that engaged local people in a participatory atmosphere help to create community context and planning. This leads to the creation of an environment that allows for building organizational capacity, which in turn allows organizations to organize the community and plan community actions. In order to improve an outcome of concern, the community actions lead to community changes, which are new or modified programs, policies, and practices within the community or system. These changes then yield widespread behavior change and improvements in population-level outcomes. Our community change theory shows that community changes are intermediate outcome, which as stated previously are new or modified programs, policies, and practices within the community or system, contribute to improvements in population-level outcomes, our longer-term outcome. For example, if your population-level outcome is a decrease in the prevalence of childhood obesity, you can say that a risk factor for childhood obesity is a sedentary lifestyle. Therefore, a community change could be the implementation of a new physical activity program in elementary schools. However, if after 2 years the risk factor of a sedentary lifestyle has not improved, you might need to add more or different types of community changes within the system, such as creating a policy to provide healthier lunches or to require a nutrition class in addition to physical activity. In order for community changes to occur, there must be an appropriate dose of goals, which are your population level outcomes, strategies, the ways in which you will implement your goals, and duration, the length of time you will implement your strategies. Additionally, there must be an appropriate mix or penetration of targets, sectors, and places. For example, if you are trying to reduce the prevalence of childhood obesity, you can not only target children, you must also target parents and teachers. Likewise, if you're focusing on producing changes within a specific school district, you must look at multiple schools. Furthermore, in addition to places, you must focus not only on the school environment, but also other environments, such as the home environment and other places children engage in activities, such as churches. Now we will discuss how to create an entry. First, you will navigate to www.partnersinhealthevaluation.org. There are several steps that must be taken to document your initiative's efforts. First, you must record discrete instances or activities within the ODSS. Next, you will code for characteristics of an activity or event. And finally, you will save your changes. In order to create an entry, use your username and password to log in. At this point, you should all already have a distinct username and password. If you do not, please contact me at momina@ku.edu. If you have entered your username and password, please click on the Add Accomplishments link. Local community members involved in the initiative's work will document community events, and the KU workgroup will assure the quality of the entries. You are documenting the actions you take to implement the state plan and the actions that others take to implement programs, policies, or practices that are related to the state plan. Tips for a good entry are to document one entry per activity, to regard each entry as a description that will stand alone, to use names instead of pronouns, and to be careful about acronyms. When creating an entry, please answer and include the following components: who, did what, with whom, and why or to what end. Here are 3 examples of good entries. The first example is who, Dr. Smith, did what, developed a survey, with whom, in collaboration with the Douglas County Health Department. Why or to what end? To survey local businesses about their breastfeeding policies. The resulting entry would be Dr. Smith developed a survey in collaboration with the Douglas County Health Department to survey local businesses about their breastfeeding policies. The next entry is who, Lucy Jones, did what, provided a presentation about establishing biking and walking trails, with whom, to the Greenville City Council. Why or to what end? To advocate for passage of a policy requiring biking trails for new street construction. The resulting entry would be Lucy Jones provided a presentation about establishing biking and walking trails to the Greenville City Council to advocate for passage of a policy requiring biking trails for new street construction. The third example is who, Greenville School District, did what, adopted a policy to provide incentives for students that participate in a PE program, with whom, based on the recommendations of the Greenville Health Department and Healthy Greenville Initiative. Why or to what end? To increase engagement in physical activity among youth. The resulting entry would be the Greenville School District adopted a policy to provide incentives for students that participate in a PE program based on the recommendations of the Greenville Health Department and Healthy Greenville Initiative to increase engagement in physical activity among youth. Some examples of activities to document are SCHD completed 13 nutrition assessments for students enrolled in the Sarpy County Head Start program. Jessica Davies met with the Garden County Worksite Wellness Committee to provide technical assistance on environmental and policy supports for Garden County employees. Ann Fritz of NCDHD and Megan Lupke, Boyd Holt County Extension Educator, led a workshop in Boyd County to encourage youth to live healthier, more active lives. The participants were 6 registered 4-H youth ages 8 to 10. You should document as soon as possible after the event, or at least quarterly. The information that you document is made available on the ODSS for sense making, to generate reports, and for general review. The information is also available in list form, and graphs may also be generated. When you document, the accomplishments page will prompt you for the following: date, organization project name, your name, and description of the activity. The best description of activity will describe whether this is a new program, policy, or practice in the community, a modified program, policy, or practice in the community, a new policy or practice within your organization, an action to advocate for or bring about a new program, policy, or practice in the community, an instance of providing a service to members of the community, or other. It will also ask you if this is a first-time occurrence. When you document, the accomplishments page will prompt me for the following: in order to complete your entry, you may either select one of the 2 options: Save and Return, which takes you to a complete listing where you can log out, or Save and Add Another, which takes you to an empty data entry form. If you'd like to sign out, click on your welcome and username sign and select Sign Out. Now we will navigate to your ODSS. Remember that you should log on to partnersinhealthevaluation.org. This will then prompt you for your username and password. Here you can view others' accomplishments, or you can add your own. As stated previously, the accomplishments page will ask you for the date of activity, your organization or program name, your name, the description of your activity or project, the sentence that best describes the activity, whether this was a first-time occurrence, which counties or regions were involved, which setting or sector this took place, the duration of the activity, Which underserved or population experiencing disparities was prioritized for this activity? Which behaviors change strategy was used? The broad goal addressed by this activity, the CDC priority area addressed by this activity, whether this was a success story, and who the contact person will be for this activity. Are there any questions?
Yes, we have a range of different activities. Which types of activities normally qualify, and how should we prioritize?
We're interested in documenting things that are directly related to the state plan. Please focus on a handful of key activities in the last quarter so that you're not listing every activity that took place. Ask yourself, as a documenter, what are your key 3 to 5 activities?
It seems like this is documenting activities, but does it also document behavior change?
Unfortunately, it does not. That will have to come from a different documentation system. However, the DHHS does obtain behaviors specific to nutrition activities from the BRFSS. Additionally, you can also copy an entry if you have completed your entry, and then the next quarter you will have a very similar entry. If there are things you are doing regularly, such as a health department that does health assessments or menus on a regular basis, you can just copy the entry and make the appropriate changes.
What kind of outputs can we do on our own instead of waiting for the end of the year?
Real-time graph making and recording is available. At some point in the future, we can schedule a training so that those of you who are interested can learn how to use the data to answer your questions and those of your funders. This concludes the Partners in Health Evaluation training. If you have any questions, please email me at momina@ku.edu